Okay, so I need to make a little intro here for my first ever edited video for Access Allies Online. Um, I played Sebi Fume, who is currently gold in Allies and has been um, platinum and gold in the past, and I think even yeah. So platinum and gold have been their highest rankings. I accidentally deleted. I didn't wait till the full Germany video, the first turn edited properly, and lost it. So I was gonna just give you a quick overview of what happened in that game, um, just leading into Japan's turn. So looking back at what Russia had bought a tank and artillery for infantry, um, and they had a decent West Russia. They had 5 infantry, 2 artillery, and a tank. And then in Ukraine, they retreated, um, and they left me with. Or no, they didn't actually retreat. They ended up taking everything and had 3 tanks survive in there, I believe. And let's see what non-combat move was. The combat move into Ukraine was 3 infantry, 1 tank, 1 artillery, 2 tanks, Caucasus, 1 fighter, Karelia, and then they destroyed tank. Oh yeah, they only lost 2. Excuse me, they only lost 2 infantry, and they ended up with their 3 tanks and infantry and artillery, and they put their AA gun in there. And then with Germany, I attacked with 7 infantry and 3 tanks, and ended up going to TJ. So I think you'll see that more in Japan's turn. But anyhow, that was just a quick little recap of that. I don't know how necessary it might have been, but okay. Okay, so it's Japan 1. Um, they had a really decent opener. They bought 2 artilleries and infantry, which they put in India, 2 fighters, which they put over here in UK. They did try to go for Sea Zone 7. I had 3 subs and a cruiser there. When they attacked, they lost their destroyer and their cruiser. I only lost a sub, and they retreated with their fighter and their bomber. They put their bomber in Kazakh. They, because of that, they didn't go for Sea Zone 17. And then since they did use one of the fighters in 7, they had to land that in Archangel. Where they did come out ahead is they went for 37. They got everything here. They definitely came out on top. But the bigger thing here is they got both of these islands, the Double Dutch, with just the infantry, and they didn't lose any infantry in that process as well. So that really sets them up, along with having 5 Russian infantry up here in Yakut. It really sets them up pretty nicely to do a KJF. So some people go for Pearl Harbor. I used to always go for Pearl Harbor every single time. With the new season, I'm going to try and do things sometimes differently here. So um, what I did end up buying is I bought 2 fighters, 2 infantry, and an artillery. And so some of the things that you have to look out for is the bomber being in Kazakh. You have to either leave Sea Zone 61 empty. You don't really want to buy any transports unless you plan on having a battleship up here. They're going to take Burachia back unless I stack things here. But the bigger thing is dead zoning 45, because if you don't go for Pearl Harbor and C Zone 45 is not threatened, then they can get 3 U.S. fighters to India on their next turn, and that if that happens, Germany has an extremely hard time immediately trying to gain leverage to get the Russians out of West Russia. So my plan here is to attack the cruiser, kill the transports, take Borneo back with the two transports, and also setting up most of my fleet here in 47, if not all of it, so that I have a strong line to 45 and 44. Most likely, if they do decide to set up in 44, they'll probably put their destroyer from 53 here so that they can block that and keep me from taking it. So I'll just use one unit to take Brescia and then put everything else back down here. The fighter will from Anhui. These guys here will all go into the attack into Yunnan along with the fighter there. And then I'll use the bomber down here in 37, put it in East Indies. So it has a line on 44 and 45. And then when I can counter, if they do go here and they didn't block 49, I also have the benefit of these 2 fighters that are sitting here because they can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll have my aircraft carrier here. So the 2 that can go here, that are on the aircraft here will be able to go 1, 2, and land in Caroline Islands because 3, 4. And these guys can land onto the aircraft carrier, or the game will assume that they can land on the aircraft carrier. Whether or not the aircraft carrier survives is another story. So that's my plan here, and we're going to go ahead and take the moves, hope for some good rolls, and then see where we're at after that. So here we go. What can I do with this other? I can't really do anything with this. 2, 3. What can he really do here? This fighter is kind of useless right now. I mean, actually, I want to keep him there. So I'm just going to leave him there because I want to have as many options as I can to try and take out that fleet. If somehow this guy decides to leave that opportunity available to me, don't necessarily think he will, but I can't attack here because I'm forced to move and leave the fighter. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fighter 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea to make. Well, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't want to give him too many opportunities to take things. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one has to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's also stuck going somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. Staying back, huh? Whoa. We'll see what can get moved after this, but I think that's really all I can do at this point. So let's see what comes of this. Okay. All right, so now we have to just quickly move everything down. Gosh, let's see. Oh, you can make it there. Let's see, I think that's everything, honestly. Yeah, so that wasn't too bad. So now we'll see what he does. Really strong possibility that they end up going for the KJF, and then can explain what Germany will do next turn. But all in all, a really decent round. Gives me the opportunity to push into China pretty strong now. Kind of counter 5. I won't be able to get up here for 2 rounds, which could be a reason why they either US may go 59 or go up north instead of coming down here and risking that they get their fleet washed out right away. But we'll have to wait and see. So I will see you guys on next turn. And, well, after this is mobilized, I guess. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're on Germany 2. Let's see. They, U.S. bought an aircraft carrier, 2 destroyers, a transport, and 1 artillery, which they've positioned to go for KGF. However, they use the Pacific Fleet to go up here to Alaska. Germany, they have it set up when you try to take UK, they call it the Sea Lion. We'll call this the Alaskan Salmon because it's looks interesting, but some people think it's a waste of time. I don't know. I don't know why I said that, but whatever. They didn't do anything other than use their bomber to attack the cruiser that was here in 7, and then just kind of moved everything around. Russia had 5 guys here originally. They went for Buratia. I'll have to look up the pronunciation, but they went for it and they lost 3 of their guys, and I didn't lose any. They went for a strafe here with Ukraine. There was 5 infantry here and 3 tanks. They lost an infantry and I lost 3. And then they went back into West Russia. And then they bought, I think it was 6 infantry and 3 artillery. So, as I mentioned, I'm just kind of using C. Brown PT's spreadsheet. Right now, positive numbers mean that Axis is ahead and allies are leading in negative numbers. So they have more units on the board than I do, and value, their unit value is more than mine, but in terms of attack power, strength, and defense strength, I'm up on them. But when you look over here, this is Army, Air Force, Navy. I'm behind in the Navy, so they have 14 units between the three nations, and I have 12. And most of those, I believe, are fighters. I don't think they have two bombers, a UK and US bomber. So, Navy wise, this number, if you're the Axis, is probably always going to be in the Allies' favor unless they're going full blown KJF, and even then, it's there's a chance that you'll probably be behind at some point, just because it's kind of impossible to keep up with that income. But what I want to do is I'm just gonna take a look at this, and I'm gonna buy a bomber. It won't really help much. It'll give me it'll probably add 4 to my attack power, but only 1 to my defense. So this won't change a huge amount. Maybe this will go down by 10. My first round was pretty good. This is what it looked like, the difference of the first round. The end of US's turn, I was ahead in everything, until Russia came and did their attack. So looking at the board, this is an annoyance, but not a problem. So I'll just end up moving most of my stuff back up into 60, split just enough so that I can kill this off or push them back, and see what they do. If they try to do 2 oceans, which I don't think that they will, since they brought the battleship and the destroyer down here. Most likely what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attack Archangel, because I just want to get that fighter out of the way, and it's annoying for me. I will I don't know if I'm going to sacrifice my subs to try and go for these 2 things. I mean, it's kind of worth it, but not necessarily. It gives me a couple of free hits. Couple of things I can do here. What I like to do is when this is open here, I like to blitz the tank through and then take the infantry, artillery, and use the bombardment and hopefully get all of Transjordan. I could use it to go up here to Ukraine instead, but I'd rather take out more of UK's units since their turn is next. And, the less they have to help India, the better. It also maybe opens up something unique for what I have down here in Borneo, since I do have the ability to attack with 4 and some fighters and a bomber and get a couple of bombardments out of it. That most likely won't happen, but since I'm only down a couple of units, a lot of people say that you want to go with the infantry. Infantry wins the war, but here's a situation where I think I'm going to go with getting a bomber, since I have a little bit of opportunity here. And then 2 tanks, and then 6 infantry, because there's no real threat here right now. The only threat is this Africa, if they wanted to move it up and do 2 attacks on France. But I can stack that at the cost of not having a lot there. But what I can also do is I can move my subs down here instead of attacking, and kind of make them think twice about doing that. Granted, they can use their bomber and that stuff, and these only block at 1, but it's still a chance at getting something from that. So I am going to attack Caucasus. In order to do this properly, I need to do a count real quick, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, so that it can hit here. 1, 2, 4, 4, and then another 4, 5. So 9, and I have 8 here. So I'll need to bring at least 2. I should bring back 3 infantry here just to be safe, and also make sure that my defense profile has my AA gun go after my after my infantry. Yeah. Okay. So go here. I don't know why that keeps turning on. All right, now we're gonna have a problem here. I think we may have a problem this round. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll have to figure that out here in a second. Might as well go. I had to splice this video, or I will splice this video, because I was talking about what I was doing. We were going to blitz through here. We were going to attack up here. This one is a little bit unique. I don't really want to move my planes off of France yet because of what is getting committed to against here. So I'm going to overcommit here, just because, and what I'm doing here is not really correct. Shouldn't be using my tanks. I should be pulling. I can't, well, my fighters can't reach either one actually. So it's not that big a deal, but I need to make sure that that attacks. The reason I'm not trying to go into Africa is there's just too much here, and they're going to get it back anyway, so I might as well get stuff that is in range of immediate threat over anything else. So hopefully these go okay. So now I'll move one of these guys up. I won't keep these guys back. There's actually, why not? There's nothing that can actually reach there right now. This guy forward. Push all these guys up. Actually, let's see. 3, 4. Might as well, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to put these guys forward, these guys down, this guy in. I'm going to actually invite them to Karelia. Let them, because it's going to take them 2 rounds anyway to do anything remotely interesting. I'm going to put 4 guys there. And I'm going to go for, I'm going to set up to try and stack Ukraine next round. Well, not stack it, but I'm going to threaten it. And let them try and go for Karelia. Let it go ahead and go for Karelia, and if they want to do that. Because I've got guys down here now, so they have to back out. And since I had such a good run there, they've got to try and do something about that. And they don't have a lot here, so actually going up really defeats the purpose of taking this. So let's see what happens when I do that. Yeah, I like that. And then, actually, I'm gonna waste a couple guys there because I want them to have to commit more into taking that since I've got things spread all around. And hopefully I can use this one more time. So let's see what comes of that. Yeah. Should be interesting to see how that turns out. All right. Okay, so we're on Japan's turn 2. UK didn't really do much of anything this round. They moved in Africa a little bit. What did they move to India? Moved to India, consolidated in Congo, moved over in Western Australia, moved a transport down. The only actual thing they did combat wise was take French Indochina. So I only have 2 transports right now. What I am going to do is I'm going to move back up into 60 to get rid of this little fleet because they'll take one of these 2 territories. Probably this one, and then have Russia take this. Or actually, they may take this because they have a fighter. And then I'm going to take Burma, use 1 infantry and the bomber to try to take French Indochina, use the guys from Borneo to take Quang, some of the guys from Anhui to take the rest of the stuff, and then split up the fleet to be able to take this out. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm being overly cautious here. I don't need to buy any infantry because I have 7 here, but what I do need to do is buy a couple of transports so that I can move everything next round. And I bought another destroyer just to absorb some of the blow that could potentially happen if they attack, or also to not have to lose my aircraft carrier hopefully on the next round. And then I bought another fighter. So gonna go ahead and follow through with that purchase and then make the moves that we need to do. And then tricky. Actually, they probably will go Manchuria, I did not think about that. Interesting. Interesting. That's fine. So let's go ahead and so one thing I did notice, I'm glad I bought that destroyer because there's 2 fighters that can actually, 1, 2, 3, can actually reach this battleship. So I'll move this guy up. I'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll actually put him here. Move this up. And then move the rest of this up here. I think that I have it all. I've been pretty straightforward, kind of boring moves, but as you can see, I'm like, obviously I have more than enough here to be fine, and it's gonna delay Japan just a little bit on the take back, but you know, that's no big deal. All right, easy enough move, and we'll take it from there. So we're at Germany 3 now, and it's kind of interesting. The U.S. bought more transports to destroy artillery, 5 infantry, and then they only attacked the 2 subs that I had in Sea Zone 8 and lost a destroyer because of that. And then on Russia, they bought 7 infantry, 1 artillery, and then went after Caucasus and got that successfully. Archangel successfully, Ukraine and Belarus. So they're sitting pretty good with the money right now, but they've spread themselves out, and they're going to lose. They're going to end up trading here and losing, and I might be able to stack Ukraine because of it this turn. It just depends on how well this turn goes. So what I have to do here, or what I plan on doing, is I'm going to buy 13 infantry and artillery and a tank. That's all my money, and it fills out all the slots. I'm gonna attack Caucasus with a tank, and then the 2 infantry from Italy, the bombardment from the battleship, and then the bomber, and that gives me about a 95% chance to win, but 85 to conquer. And then I'll also take Sudan just to create another layer that they have to get through here. I'll go for both of these. I can't reach. I don't have enough to really reach up here with Archangel, so I kind of have to leave that. Really, I'm just going to go for Bello and Ukraine, and then Caucasus, and we'll from there, then I'll just reposition depending on what the count looks like, and then see where we're at. I was doing the calculations earlier, and actually, I mean, this is unnecessary in the video, but I was doing the calculations earlier, and I was looking, and right now we're sitting pretty good. So overall, in terms of all units considered, Allies is ahead, or Access is ahead because the numbers are positive here. So we're ahead in unit count. We're ahead in, I mean, the IPC number doesn't really matter as much, but attack power, we're ahead. Defense power, so we're ahead by like essentially four tanks in attack power, and then double the amount of that in defense power. And then you can see the breakdown over here a little bit better. So we have 10 more land units. We're basically one less bomber than all of the allies, and then this, you can't really look at that in the navy wise, because for the most part we're not going to have much of a navy this whole game. So each round I've went down a little bit. This round I had some miscounting on the infantry units, but we'll all in all, it still seems to be pretty good. So let's go ahead and get this process started. So go down here. See. 4. There, 5. I think that looks like it for Germany. One of the things I did want to mention is, so it's really important, like, just knowing what you're buying and what you're going to actually be able to get use out of. He's got 3 transports here, but 2 guys. So he had transports that were down in Africa, and I think that's how he got these back up there. And then he bought more transports on top of it. Really, what he should have done is he should have thought about it last round and bought units that could have moved up here last round to match this. He'd be a lot more threatening. This is the reason why I can actually comfortably move a couple planes out of France, because if he attacks, he's getting 2 bombardments, 2 land units, and then air, and I have an AA gun there as well. And so he runs a risk of losing the fighters, not only to the AA gun, but possibly in the battle, depending on what I decide to leave behind. So hasn't really played. One thing I want to do here to see if I can stack, so I don't have any Japanese fighters. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't have any Japanese fighters that can make it to Ukraine to help with this, so I'm a little bit stuck. So as you can see, he's got 2 tanks, 4 infantry, 2 artillery, and 2 fighters that can go after you. Okay, so we're now on Japan round 3. I kind of rushed off the last video with Germany. I had background noise issues. So Anyhow, what everything is really straightforward, kind of in this sense. Since he didn't really do anything with this fleet, I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of the way and kill it. I'll probably send a destroyer, a cruiser, a sub, and 3 fighters over there. I'll have to land a fighter. 3, 2, 3. I'll have to move my aircraft carrier out, so I might not actually do that. I'll probably just use the ones that are on there. And then I'm gonna go for Yakut, because I'll just use a bunch of fighters with that one infantry and hope that they don't get 2 hitbacks before I get mine. Maybe I'll even use the bomber here. I'll take all the free territories here. I can't really go for Burma this round because I don't want to risk. I don't want to lose a tank, and I don't want to risk a bomber just to take that back. And I have 7 units here, 5 infantry, 2 artillery, and a gun and fighters that I can land all into Yunnan. So that's more than enough to accommodate what they can bring during UK's turn, which is 4 fighters, a tank, and a bomber. What they did do is they're swapping out. They moved their fighters over for UK. They bought a fighter, but they moved a fighter back, or they had 2 here that they moved over here. But they took them off of West Russia, so they're probably going to move out of West Russia this next round, because even with 2 more fighters coming and the rest of their guys, I mean, they're in a situation where they're in some trouble. So this is just going to be a pretty straightforward move. I'm going to buy an IC this round, so next round I can get a couple of tanks and an infantry on the mainland right away and start adding to the pressure so that I can set up to stack Kazakh hopefully in a couple of rounds. But as it stands now, I mean, we're already starting to lead almost by 20. I guess let's say 15. Not even doing the real math. But yeah, 15, which is good. And then after this buy, it probably will be even more. Other than that, now I have the 4 transports, so I can be maxing this out once I have this IC here too. Or doing something like 10 infantry or 9 infantry and artillery and a fighter, or 10 infantry and a bomber, depending on how much money I have in the next coming rounds. I may buy another transport next round, depending on what my money looks like, to start taking these islands here, maybe work up and then down. Sometimes I feel like that's the most efficient, but it just depends on what's going on here. If they try to get a little wild and push heavy into Burma, which would seem a little silly, but with me having this bomber or the battleship for Germany and still being able to kind of move around pretty freely here for at least another round or 2, I think that they were just wanting to keep Burma alive for another round. Unless they're planning on stacking it with the US fighter as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, 4 infantry, 2 artillery, and an IC. And then we'll go with the sub, the cruiser. And then how many? 2, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it. Go heavy there. Use all infantry there. And then I think that's all. I don't want to move, so I know like leaving this open seems a little silly because I'll have to backtrack, but because they have a bunch here that they can push into Yunnan, I'd rather take Soviet Far East back next round, or either with this infantry if it lives, or with a transport, because I don't really plan on going for India, and that becomes evident kind of when you buy an IC, especially in round 3. I haven't taken back New Guinea because I don't have anything coming this way anyway, and one, just it's not worth it for me to bother having to send 2 and a fighter or hope for a bombardment or whatever that may be right now. So let's go ahead and man, that's a bummer. Now they can attack. 2, 3. Can attack with their 2 infantry and their move this up here so they can't do that. Playing it really thin there. That's okay. Okay, so I forgot to screenshot that. Anyway, so I guess next what I'll try to do here is kind of see what I need to do here with France. Their kind of position that they'll go, most likely go up here. I may take the risk and try to take this out with these fighters and then this this bomber. I mean, I can get it for sure. It's just a matter of the amount of stuff they put up here with it. They may decide to merge, or they may just overlook that completely and just try to go straight for Norway. They've only got 2 guys, so it'd almost be better if they waited a second. I mean, the only benefit would be sending a transport up on its own, sacrificing it to get Norway, and so you could at least get an IC there next round. So when you do land into Finland and such, you're already actually producing. But let's see if they do that. I'm not sure if they will or not. Okay, so we're moving along to Germany 4. Things are starting to get a little bit more interesting. So U.S. bought destroyer, transport, 2 artilleries, and 5 infantry. They were able to get my destroyer up here in 63, so I might need to get another destroyer or a sub at least to get this transport out of the way, but I might go destroyer. Just things are starting to pile up in India. They've got, the U.S. has this fleet here now in 13, which currently they have more than enough to push into the Med to kind of disrupt this area a little bit. I've got a bunch of loose transports, so I'm going to continue to stack France a little bit heavier. I'm going to put my bomber there to force them to have to do something more than just have the transports. I'd like to get this transport, but honestly, I'm not going to be able to because I'd have to land my bomber here in Northwest Europe or up here in Finland, and neither are good situations without having to backtrack and push this out of the way when I can actually stack West Russia this turn and with some support from the Japanese fighters. And then hopefully I'll stack Caucasus next round. So what I'm gonna do, and then Russia bought 7 infantry, 1 tank. They took back Caucasus. They attacked Kazakh but didn't get it. They just went with 2 infantry. The thing that, one of the bigger mistakes they made is leaving this fighter here in West Russia. I mean, you know, they'll most likely get a hit back from it, but it seems like a waste of a fighter. And I'll be using the bomber, infantry, artillery from India. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Infantry artillery from India to take this out, and then I'll probably bring a fighter down too, and then leave the fighter here in Ukraine with a couple of these guys. I don't really think that they have enough that they would try to strafe it with the 2 infantry there. And then I can also still hit. I'm hoping that, I kind of was trying to figure out what's the best way to try to bait them into the Med, because I'm actually going to go ahead and, since I don't have a lot threatening Berlin, I'm going to change up my buy and go 1 bomber, 1 fighter, so I have more than enough to get this. If I, or at least a chance at it, and then 6 infantry and 1 artillery. That's most likely not the most prescribed to thought process, because that's 7 additional infantry that, or 6 additional infantry and a artillery that I could be adding to the whole thing. But I'd rather just try to go for the fleet when I have, since I have the opportunity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take Caucasus back. I'll probably actually leave 1 in Egypt and move over to Transjordan to make Persia have to do something, or make US have to do it, or maybe that will be the bait, or maybe I'll even put 1 infantry in Libya just to really bait them. That actually might be interesting to see what happens Yeah, I'll put an infantry in Libya and an infantry in Transjordan and hmm. No, one, two, three. Yeah, probably just leave everything in Egypt, I guess, because it's probably the best way to keep the UK from breaking through without having to commit a bunch of planes and possibly losing one. Okay. So the other thing to consider too is there's 4, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, and then UK has 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. I don't think that they'll go for it, but and I also have to fix this, so but I'm in a position where they're gonna have to start pushing back out of moving those planes out of India, and I can go for a possible attack on India, or they're going to move out of India. So this hopefully should be over in the next few rounds. I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave this open. I'll take it with Japan instead because I need more guys in West Russia than anything. Okay. All right. Not bad. So said that they had 13. Can move this over here. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. I think that's enough to keep them away. I mean, can reach. Actually, I'll go ahead and put this here. And then leave a couple guys back just to be extra safe. And then see what they're going to try to do here. I'm going to leave these guys here in Egypt. They're going to die anyway, so, I mean, I'd rather them die preventing UK from getting this round, or hopefully taking out a getting to take out a fighter, ideally. 10, 13, 16, okay. Yeah, looks pretty good. So I'll put 2 guys up here, the rest here, here. The one bummer is not really getting to put anything in Italy. I mean, I ran it thin. That was the downfall of not doing this, because I didn't put anything in Italy, and they can go after Italy if they want, but if they do, all the better, because I can just go after their fleet next round. So I'm hoping that that's what they do. So we'll see you next turn. Okay, so we're on Japan 4. UK bought 3 infantry and artillery and 2 destroyers. They took Northwest Europe for free. They moved all of their fleet into 8, most likely to combine with US, or some of US. Maybe they're still going to push into Med. They attacked the Caucasus, but they did not get it. They went for Thailand, but they didn't get that either. So basically, I'm going to take all the remaining Russian territories here. Oh yeah, let's see. Man, I don't really want to do this, but it's annoying. It's going to annoy me. I need to buy a sub. What I'm going to buy, I was going to buy enough to fill all the transports, but what I may end up doing instead is just going to get a couple of guys off the island here, because I need to get a sub so I can deal with this little transport before he starts taking free islands. So I'm going to buy 7 infantry, 2 tanks, put 2 tanks and an infantry here, and then I'll put 6 infantry here. Gosh, I should actually, I'll get 1 less tank so I can almost fill all the transports. That's okay. I'll do that. It'll still give me a tank to get in there. Another very simple round. These rounds are just so easy to go through. Just because I don't have a lot to do right now. I need to move these fighters up here to give me better odds. Yeah, that's a bummer. Well, yeah, so that looks like all I can really do right now, and go ahead and And then what I'll do here is everything will go up. These will go here. These will go up to Yunnan. These fighters will come. Oh, wow. I did not realize that. That is huge. Being able to put all 5 fighters in West Russia gives me tremendous odds to hold and avoid a strafe, which then leads me to have a really strong chance at stacking Caucasus next round. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. I'm willing to sacrifice that artillery for that. That's tremendous. Wow. Another thing that if you don't have, if you only have enough to fit 3 transports, for example, here, and you move all 4 at the same time and you fill them all up and move them back, one of those transports won't move back because it had nothing on it. It won't just move back with the remainder of the transport. So you want to watch that, because sometimes you can put yourself in a situation. A lot of times there's a US sub sitting up here and that doesn't get shown, and you might not even catch it until after you're in the mobilization phase. So what I like to do is either move them over one at a time or just move the exact amount of transports I know that I'm going to need to actually pick anything up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Actually, I could probably get away with moving this one up here. No, I can't. Dang. I could move it here. Because 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But he could take that. 5, 6. He could end up taking that, actually. We'll just leave it back here just to be safe. It's a bummer. Yeah, I think that's all I can do for now. These have been really quick rounds, so like I said, I hope this game just kind of plays itself out faster. Okay, so we're in Germany round 5. Just looking back at everything that they were able to do. So US bought a fighter, an artillery, and 4 infantry, and an industrial complex, which they put in Norway. And then they took Finland, undefended, Algeria, and they went for Egypt and got that with everything that could reach it. And then they took out my battleship and my transport and lost a fighter in that process. They didn't go into the med like I thought. They just backed up. I mean, they are stacked here, so but it's funny because they're really stacked, but they have 1 transport that can do anything, so they're absolutely no threat. They move some transports up here into Sea Zone 1, and there'll be some problems coming up here soon on their turn, so I need to push as much forward as I can. Which I'll actually probably end up moving most everything out. Well, I probably might leave the 8 guys in France with a AA gun, but I will probably be pushing all the fighters and stuff since I can't really do anything there. Haven't decided if I really going for this aircraft carrier and fighter is. I mean, the aircraft carrier is annoying because it's able to move around and help position the fighters, but risking 2 planes to get an aircraft carrier and a fighter just doesn't necessarily seem like the best use of my options here. So, and then Russia bought 6 infantry, which gives them 29 to attack with, and they took Caucasus, which was undefended, and they killed my artillery that was here in Kazakh. So even though I don't have a lot to push up here, I probably will just push 7 in there anyway, just because they can't get to it without either attacking with just planes from UK or having to do something heavy here in Moscow, and it will help next round when I need to continue to stack Caucasus as they bring some more of their US stuff in. So what I thought I would do here is go 9 infantry, 2 artillery, and 2 tanks so that I can get some extra up there next round, along with pushing everything from Berlin up. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to attack Caucasus. What do they got? 2, 4. Okay. And then I think that's all that I can really do right now. This doesn't do any good to attack. Yes, I need those guys. One of those guys to come down and block West Russia. Okay. So kind of scary. Maybe I'll do 2 here. Just all right. It looks like that's pretty much all we can do this round. Alrighty, so Japan round 5. UK bought 6 infantry, 1 tank, 1 transport, which they put in 7. I'm assuming that they're gonna protect it with at least a destroyer and a battleship. And they took back Northwest Europe. What else did they do here? They combat. They took Transjordan undefended. They went for Northwest Europe. They went and got Persia. And they attempted to get Burma, but they didn't get Burma. So, what my plan is to fill up my transports, move them in here, take Kazakh back. Once I take Kazakh, then I'm going to blitz my tank through into Caucasus, fly the planes and the bomber into Caucasus, so that should be able to hold Caucasus for now, and then I can start adding here. And then debated on going for a second IC right now, just so I can have a tank funnel coming through, but I don't really think that's any different than me just buying a couple tanks here and just doing that every round if I really want to. And then that gives me the options for fighters and other things right now. And I mean, I'm under no real immediate threat, so I think I have 45 here, so I'm not sure what this equates to, but yeah, so could actually go interesting. I could go 1 less, get the 2 tanks. Actually, I'll go ahead and do this. I'll go fill up everything and then get a bomber on top of it. And then that should be good. The more bombers, the better, right? Start planning on threatening C-Zone 3 here in a bit. Okay, so just for the fun of it, no real need to do all that craziness, but why not? It's fun anyway. It's really my only attack. Definitely overkill, but funny nonetheless. Sometimes you gotta leave notes for yourself just so you don't make those silly mistakes, even though it seems obvious. Okay. Guess that's really all I can do at this point. Gotta get, see, he's already loading. He's got 4 guys here, so what he's been doing is just going back and forth with that one transport. You just can't let him do that. Alrighty. So getting through a lot here. So I made a note to just put an AA gun there, just for my own sake. I need to pay attention to that sometimes. Now they've got 10. They bought a bomber, and or they brought a bomber over. They attacked Vologda to try to break through and get their 2 back. With US, what did they do here with the US? US, last round they bought the fighter, an artillery, 4 infantry, and another industrial complex. Where did they put that? Oh, wait. Oh, so okay, so they bought 2 tanks, a transport, and 8 infantry. Okay. It's fine. What do they have here? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Man, it's just not worth it, but it's just it's funny because it's annoying. So I need to, and they got me for 6 on that, which that's even more annoying. So really all I can do is 1 artillery and 11 infantry. I don't even think I can move my tanks up this time. But yeah, I can move them up, but then I have to move the other ones in. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. I got 26, 27, 36, 37, 38, 39, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 22, 32. Oh, okay. I think I'm just going to go for Moscow. At this point, like these guys, this guy's annoying me, and I think I can do it. I'm gonna just have to look real quick. So it'll be 2 waves. I've got 2 14 infantry, 2 measly artillery, but I've got 10 tanks. I've got 6 fighters, 2 bombers, a partridge in a pear tree, and then for Japan, I've got, unless he goes, I doubt he won't even have the ability to do this. So I got 2 tanks. Let's see, 1, 2, 5, 5 and 4, 5, 4, 2, 5 and 1, and 1. They got 1, 20, just say 27, 3, 6, 2, 3, 6, 2, 71%, huh? I'm gonna just do it anyway, just because I want to get this game over with, or at least to the point where I can just move it along. See how he reacts. That was freaking huge. That was amazingly huge. Wow. 7. Actually, just put them all up there. Put this up here. This here. This here. And yeah, he's going to forfeit soon. This game's going to be over quick. Yeah. This guy's going to be toast. All right, things are moving along pretty quickly now. Japan, 6. I got a little overzealous. He's got 6 fighters and a bomber. I'm going in with 5 fighters and a bomber, and he blocked my space here, so I'll have to take that up. But hopefully I can get this here and then continue to hold it with blocking it by Germany. I'm going to go the 1 infantry. I didn't think he'd actually go crazy like that, but he's a wild man. He's wild, guys. And then he's backed out of UK, which I'm going to go for also. He's got out of India. He'll come for it again. He's a wild man, I said. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take India with everything I can and the bomber. I'm going to push everything up. I'm going to try and get Russia, and probably having to sacrifice all my planes, and hopefully I get it, and then push everything forward. In order to be able to make this work well, I'm going to get 3 transports, and then I'm going to get 3 tanks. Actually, I'll get 2 tanks and a fighter. And we're going to go. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, guys. We have what we call a one-sided hopscotch of a miracle. That was not supposed to work the way it did, but it did. And somebody up there is a friend of mine. That's for sure. That is for sure, ladies and gentlemen. That should secure Moscow for good now. Okay, Germany 7. So on, I guess you'd call it the episode of What in the Hell Do You Think You're Doing? Because this is a really big mistake and just doesn't make any sense because you're just really playing a game that maybe you shouldn't. he decided to take US and go for France, which saved him a round of fighting. And then he tried to set himself up here to come back and do something again, which is going to be effective for most likely one more round. So he's dragging the game out for a couple of rounds, which I commend him. I commend him very much. It's max commending. But I'm going to get 11 infantry and 2 artillery. Obviously, I just need to do... I'm going to go ahead and take that out. It's got 8. So I got... And that should be enough to get what I need to get, to do what I need to do. What you like to call the desperation dance. These guys don't even need to go anywhere. Guys can come back. He's got, what, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. What do I got here? 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah. And he logged off. So what happens. You try and come to a professional. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's playing it right. You want to keep getting the VCs, so he did make the right choice in going for France. I am playing it a little bit tight for 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13.
I killed a cop and up in it.
So, sorry, that was a TV in the background. The it's got a couple more rounds of being drug out until I can get fighters and other things into Berlin and just start going after his fleet. Next round, I'll probably just buy a bunch of planes, probably let him stack France, and then just take out his whole fleet. Start flying bombers in. I mean, he could turn. He's the other thing he could do here is turn around and go for India with what he has, and then I have to go and take this back, and it's just a pain in the butt. But we'll see. Okay, so we're Japan around 7. UK bought 2 transports, 2 artilleries, 3 infantry. Gives them 3 transports now. I ran the numbers for both of these areas, for Berlin and Karelia, and what I'm going to need to do, because like I said before, I got a little overzealous. I will have to end up throwing the Japanese fighter, bomber, and tank up here, and then I'm going to take everything that's in Kazakh and go down to Persia, and then I'm going to end up moving 6 infantry over to Burma, keep the bomber there, and then I'll bring the fighter down, and then I will move the tanks and the infantry down here to Kwangtung, because I'll have those picked up with these transports as well. And then I will pick up these guys from East Indies and put them there in addition to these 6 guys here. And then that will actually should give me a full count, almost a full load of transports, more than enough to take India completely this time. Most likely they're going to end up going for France. I did do the calculations on the 1-2 here, so I'm thinking that they're going to go for France again, because that's the easiest for them to try and attack at this point. And then after this, I'm just going to buy straight bombers for Japan, most likely, and just head straight for the fleet. So I'm going to buy 11 infantry and 3 tanks this time. I'm going to put the tanks in Moscow to help with the backup process here, and see how it goes from there. So make sure. Actually, this will go around here to help. 1, 2. This can go. Okay. And then this needs to get out of here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're going to end up attacking it anyway. I might as well just attack with it. Again, kind of simple movements. All right, so here, down here. And I'll probably end up taking a transport and going towards Hawaii too, or a couple with the battleship and just going towards Hawaii to really just finalize this at this point. Oh man, that was a really bad buy actually. Should have just bought enough to get here since I had that there and then bought bombers. Man, I could have got 2 bombers out of that. Oh well, I'll have more than enough to go for Hawaii now. Okay, so we're Japan around 7. UK bought 2 transports, 2 artilleries, 3 infantry. Gives them 3 transports now. I ran the numbers for both of these areas, for Berlin and Karelia. And what I'm going to need to do, because like I said before, I got a little overzealous. I will have to end up throwing the Japanese fighter, bomber, and tank up here. And then I'm going to take everything that's in Kazakh and go down to Persia. And then I'm going to end up moving 6 infantry over to Burma, keep the bomber there, and then I'll bring the fighter down. And then I will move the tanks and the infantry down here to Kwangtung, because I'll have those picked up with these transports as well. And then I will pick up these guys from East Indies and put them there in addition to these 6 guys here. And then that will actually should give me a full count, almost a full load of transports, more than enough to take India completely this time. Most likely they're going to end up going for France. I did do the calculations on the 1-2 here, so I'm thinking that they're going to go for France again because that's the easiest for them to try and attack at this point. And then after this, I'm just going to buy straight bombers for Japan most likely and just head straight for the fleet. So I'm going to buy 11 infantry and 3 tanks this time. I'm going to put the tanks in Moscow to help with the backup process here and see how it goes from there. So make sure. Actually, this will go around here to help. 1, 2. This can go. Okay. And then this needs to get out of here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're going to end up attacking it anyway. I might as well just attack with it. Again, kind of simple movements. was nice. Okay. All right, so here, sound here. See. And I'll probably end up taking a transport and going towards Hawaii too, just to, or a couple with the battleship and just going towards Hawaii to really just finalize this at this point. Oh man, that was a really bad buy actually. Should have just bought enough to get here since I had that there and then bought bombers. Man, I could have got 2 bombers out of that. Oh well, I'll have more than enough to go for Hawaii now.